Hello, welcome to today's video diary for Finding My Way with Pi, Purpose, Intention, and Emotion. Today, I want to talk about the topic of finding your voice. And I'll, as I often do, relate this by sharing a story. So I'm thinking about this today because we have been studying the benefits of doing improv theater or improv exercises. It's over the last decade or more been studied and documented that there are a lot of benefits to practicing improv in your life. Some of those benefits include being present, being open and welcoming, saying yes to others in a collaborative, accepting way, paying attention, learning how to failing often, which is part of life, learning how to appreciate what your partner is saying, taking care of your partner, because one of the goals of improv is to help others be successful. So it's an exercise in kindness, and also to have fun. So finding your voice, I want to relate this to not just myself and how those things can, when I reflect on it, don't take myself so seriously, be present in the moment, have some fun with it, develop relationships. All of these things that are like maxims or guidelines for improv are things that I've been naturally gravitating towards in my life, especially since beginning these daily video diaries, curiously examining my emotions. Those are the types of things that are coming up for me that work for well-being and whole being and feeling good about my life. I want to relate this even more specifically to something: parenting and children finding their own voice. It's difficult for any human. Maybe it always has been, but I'll just say in my experience, it's difficult to find your own voice. I want to talk about my son. He's 11 years old. He's the youngest of my children. My daughter is 16 years old, so there's a 5-year difference. They have an amazing relationship, of which I'm very grateful that they've got each other as siblings this way. And we have tried put a lot of effort into parenting in such a way so that little brother thought for himself instead of asking big sister what he should do. Now, this is a very natural thing with siblings, and the dynamic between the older and the younger. And my daughter would naturally, take him under his wing. I'd say, "Hey, Merrick, what do you think?" And she'd say this, or, "What do you want to play?" "I don't know. What do you want to play, big sister?" And big sister would, "Let's play this," and he'll roll with it. I'm not saying anything's wrong. I'm just acknowledging, this dynamic. So one of the exercises that we did, exercise sounds so clinical. We played while we were at the dinner table together this week. It was me and hubby and our 11-year-old son, and we played an improv game. It was called Yes and, where you essentially are telling a story. One person says one sentence, the next person goes yes and then they build on that, and then the next person goes yes and they build on it. And anything goes. It's just, you don't get to shut down anyone is the main rule. Don't shut anyone down. It's just yes and build on it and flow with it. Well, the first 10 minutes were pretty uncomfortable for my son. He's like, "What? I don't get it." Or he'll say, "What should I say?" Or one of us would say something, he would go, "Why would you say that?" It was difficult to get into that yes and mode. The most difficult part that I witnessed was him finding his own voice. He would like, "What should I say?" Or "I don't know what to say," or those types of things. And we just kept gently saying, "It's okay, anything goes. Watch, we're gonna play off of each other, and anything you say goes, and if it doesn't make sense, don't even worry about it." Eventually, after about 10 to 15 minutes, he got light with it and more fluid, more daring, more courageous and brave. We started laughing and having fun with it, and he found his voice. And he would even throw out things like, he'd say poop, which typically we're like, no potty language at the table. And he looked at it, poop, and he looked at us like, am I gonna get shut down? And we rolled with it and played and laughed. And there were some pretty funny things that we ended up saying while we were doing this improv play together. Here's the punchline. I've been working the entire 11 years I've been parenting this child to try to help him have his own voice and have the confidence to have his own voice. And it didn't seem like anything I did ever really hit home, because the pattern would always emerge again. What should I say? What should I do? I don't know, you tell me. And I'd flip it around. Hey, well, what is it that you're thinking? Share with me what you're thinking. Let's roll with that. And it was uncomfortable for him because that pattern was in place. He, through improv play, learned how to not take himself so seriously, find his own voice, be playful with it, and was in this environment where it was psychologically safe for him to do that, to be himself, and we accepted it. And we even ran with his funny things that he contributed during the play. I think this gave me an avenue for helping to develop or cultivate him finding his voice. I never would have known that if it wasn't for trying this activity. And it's neat that it showed up when we were just doing a game. I wasn't intentionally trying to teach a lesson here. And yet there it was. And I think there's meaning in that as well. Sometimes we just have to let life unfold and trust our voice. And when we try to force something, it doesn't necessarily always turn out the way we're expecting, but if we can relax into it and have fun with it, sometimes that gets us where we need to be. So thanks for being with me on this journey. I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope it helps you too. I will see you tomorrow.